Welcome to the Hot Seat with Melva Wlliams. We are here on location on the campus of Grambling State University for an exclusive interview with Rick Gallot, the new president of Grambling State University. Come on, you don't want to miss this exclusive interview.
And now the Hot Seat, and here's your host, Melva Wlliams.
Welcome to the Hot Seat with Melva Wlliams, and I am here on location at Grambling State University with newly appointed President Rick Gallot. Rick, how are you? And welcome to the Hot Seat.
Thank you so much. I guess being in politics as long as I have been, I've been in the hot seat a lot.
You've been in a lot of hot seats, exactly. For many years, you've
exactly.
served in the state legislature and been a son of Grambling. And we're here on a beautiful sunny day in Grambling, and it's just spectacular to see you here and to know that the helm of Grambling State University is in your hands.
Well, thank you. And of course, this was not on my 5-year to-do list.
Oh,
so I could assure
I would
you
imagine.
that. Yeah, but you know, sometimes the Lord has work for you to do that
Right.
even we don't know at the time. So I think it's in Proverbs 19 and 21. It says, "Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails." So I do take this as some work that the man upstairs has got for me to do. Is certainly not of my own doing. So,
Right.
but I'm excited. I'm so incredibly excited to be given this opportunity, and looking forward to great things
Right.
at the place where everybody is somebody.
And I'm one of those somebodies.
Absolutely.
We're
Absolutely.
both, alumni of the institution, and it's just so exciting for me to see a Grambling alum at the helm. So, and as we think back of those years on the campus, and I know you've had a lot of time to reflect, or maybe not so much time to reflect, but tell us about your experience at Grambling.
Well, of course, I was born and reared in this community. Practically grew up on the campus. Of course, my mother taught at Grambling. Grambling is the only place my mother ever worked. She worked here for 44 years and retired as the head of the history department. And part of her dissertation for her doctorate was the history of Grambling State University, which she subsequently published as a book. And now Mom obviously is going to have to update that book.
Yes, she is.
She's got another chapter that
Right.
she'll need to add to her book.
Definitely.
So really, and my dad was mayor here in Grambling back in the early '80s, and had other elected positions, police jury and stuff, and has been a barber here for over 50 years.
Right.
So.
He's done my eyebrows.
Yes, and at 80
many
he can
years.
actually still hold a straight razor. So
Wow.
yeah,
What a blessing.
Yeah. So we are Grambling, and I
That's
know
so true.
there are there are all these phrases and terms out there. We are this, we are that. For 50 years my zip code has been 71245.
That's
so,
right.
I think it does give me somewhat of a unique perspective as I begin this new role in serving this community, and that really is how I view this new role. It's a service job. I'm here
Right.
to serve the students. I'm here to serve the alumni. I'm here to serve the faculty, the staff, the vendors, everyone who's got a connection with Grambling State
Right.
University. I should be the one carrying forth the positive message and talking about all the good things that are Grambling. And so I can remember, again, growing up in this community, Ralph Waldo Emerson Jones, Prez,
Yes,
is
Prez.
someone that that I knew personally. As a matter of fact, Prez, when he retired, built his home right next to my parents, which is now the Alumni Center.
Right.
So in his latter years, I saw Perez quite
All the
often.
time.
Yeah, and whenever he needed either his watch set or his TVs programmed,
You had
that
to
was
spring
my
into
job.
action.
Yeah, or something moved or whatever it was he needed.
Right.
I was there. So. And what I've done in setting up my email address, for instance, it's Prez at gram.edu.
What a touching story.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like a fusion of the old and the new. I suspect if email had been around during Perez's time, his email address probably would have been Perez.
Certainly.
And I actually spoke to one of his grandsons, Ernest Jones, just the other night, and he, when I told him that, he was like, I remember you wrote a paper about my grandfather, the man I know as Perez.
Wow.
That's right. I mean, just all these things are coming up, which really just sort of bring it all. It's like I've come full circle. I have come full circle, and so I'm excited beyond words. I really am.
This is certainly special for all of us. And so when we talk about that circle, so you left Grambling and you came around a corner and you went to Southern University and attended law school.
Absolutely.
And tell us about that experience, and then after that, I mean, into the frying pan.
Absolutely.
Into the frying pan as being an elected official. So how do you think those experiences prepared you?
Well, again, I think it all comes back to bringing into it a servant's mentality. That me being in this position is not about me. It's about something much bigger than just me. So as I go back, as I graduated from Grambling and went to Southern, I never thought that I would actually go to Southern.
Of course.
But I wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world. And now it puts me in a very unique position to reach out to the Jaguar Nation.
That's right.
So that we can do more than just the first Saturday after Thanksgiving to meet in New Orleans. I mean, there's very meaningful work that these two powerhouse HBCUs need to do together. Right. And so that's one of my top priorities is finding out what we can do together to advance the interest of both universities, of the state of Louisiana, and all those who our mission is to serve in these roles. So I'm excited about doing that as well, because I know there are great things that we are stronger together.
That's true.
No question about it.
Exactly. And I know Bishop Brandon always says we're better together.
Better together.
That is so true. So a lot of people see that rivalry. They see that rivalry, and it's. I try to tell people it's only 2 days. That Friday night when the bands are battling, and on the gridiron on Saturday. But you brought up an interesting point about the partnerships. Mm-hmm. Do you have any ideas about what those partnerships may look like, or how they might evolve? I mean, I know you're good friends with Dr. Belton, who's the president chancellor at Southern. So
good Kappa man.
Oh, yes. Boy, yes. He is a good man.
Absolutely. One of the initial thoughts I have relates to the Honoré Center that Southern University operates in New Orleans, and the initiative for the young black male.
Sure.
And that is something that I think we could have very meaningful work to do together, because obviously there are challenges that young men have now that perhaps were not so much when I was coming up. And so we have to find a way to meet these young men where they are, and not continue to set the bar so high that, number one, it never is realistic that they will attain that level. We've got to meet them where they are and bring them, because I think all studies have shown and history has shown, when a young man is given the opportunity and he's exposed to something beyond his immediate circumstances, then he will do well and he will do better. Right. But we again cannot just continue to raise the bar and expect that he will by himself get there. And so when you look at all the statistics about the home, the traditional home is different.
Completely different.
Yeah, it's very different now, and you have more single parent homes, primarily led by women, who are having challenges in their own educational attainment. And so, that's where, and my pastor always talks about, all of the problems that we see in society, they begin in the home, and I cannot argue with my pastor for sure.
You sure can. So listen, Mr. President, you stay right here.
Yes.
We're going to go to a break, and we'll be right back with the president of Grambling State University, Rick Gallot.
Coming up next, President Gallot talks about the strengths and weaknesses of the university
What are our weaknesses?
and if he's the right man for the job. We'll be right back with more Hot Seat with Melva Wlliams.
Since 1985, J&S Electronics has served the architects with superior electronics from transistors, resistors, and fuses. We carry HDMI cables and a wide selection of AV cables and connectors. We also have a large supply of batteries and tools to handle your projects. Need Cat 6 or CCTV systems? Call us at 318-631-8675 or come see us today at 6437 Greenwood Road.
Platters, po' boys served on fresh baked bread, hayride kitchen soup, and more, plus gumbo, boudin balls, and crawfish tail.
And make sure to join KHAM Radio as we broadcast live every Saturday night from 8 to 10 p.m. at Big O's Catfish and More, a taste with class.
Welcome to the Hot Seat with Melva Wlliams. And we are here on location on the beautiful campus of Grambling State University with the newly appointed president of the campus, Rick Gallot. Rick, thanks again for joining us.
Absolutely.
We had such
Thank
a
you for
great
having me.
conference. Oh, well, it's an honor. It truly is an honor. We go way back. I feel like we are related because our families are, such good friends.
Absolutely, and especially your Claiborne Parish family
That's
was so
right.
supportive of me back when I was state representative up there. And
That's
so,
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so this is great, and we're talking a little bit earlier in the first segment about your circle, and going around. So I know a lot of people are saying, well, he hasn't been in higher ed. He's been a native son. He hasn't been in higher ed. But so explain to us or talk to us about your experiences and how you feel that you're duly in the right position to be the leader of this great institution.
I'll approach it first from a somewhat humorous standpoint. My 4-year-old son Christopher one day
Yes.
just unprompted said, "Daddy's a lawyer. He fixes things." And there was just, and I don't know where it came from, but out of the mouth of babes.
Yeah.
But I
always
think
tell the truth.
Yeah, exactly. And I think just the whole concept of analytical thinking and our training at solving problems. I mean that has really been my life for the last 26 years as a lawyer and as an elected official. Pretty much everyone who comes to you has a problem of some sort or another. And so the question is, how do we find the best solution for the challenge that's being presented either to a client or to a constituent or what the case may be. So, my job coming in is to, number one, assess what are our strengths, okay? And obviously all of our academic programs are fully accredited. Our audits have been clean, unlike when I first got in the legislature, it was, every other week
Such
there
a
was,
struggle.
there was something from the legislative auditor, citing some problem. We rounded the corner on that. We don't have those problems. So from the core of Grambling, we are still incredibly strong, okay? So looking at our strengths, then going into what are our weaknesses. And communication, I think, has been one of the major areas that we really suffer in. Not that our core is weak, our core is strong, but if we don't have someone who's able to articulate
The message.
exactly. And so, again, one of the things that was, facing us as I was, after I was appointed, was having a communication staff that was just, I think, a part-time person and a couple of students. So clearly you cannot articulate the message of an entire university like Grambling
With a history so rich.
Exactly. And the other part of this, and this is where I guess the strength and weakness kind of play in, is that Grambling is not a local brand. Okay, now even though we are a school of enrollment last year was around 4,500, and we sit in the town of Grambling, which is 4,949 as of the last census,
Right.
in somewhat rural North Louisiana. I think the mistake that some of my predecessors have made has been to view Grambling as a more of a local brand. We are a national and international brand.
That is absolutely
You
true.
know, Eddie Robinson and Press Jones, College A. Nicholson, Fred Hobdy, Wilbert Ellis. You know,
Exactly.
these folks put us on the map internationally. You know,
Sure.
our band has traveled to Japan. You know,
Exactly.
our football team has played from coast to coast. Coach Rob winning as coach in college football. We are not a local brand. We are a national brand, and you have to approach a national brand with a national and international thought process. So,
That's true.
so we're going to change the way that we think about ourselves. And we have to do that first before we can expect others to buy in. So that's one of my challenges. But again, having a strong core, a strong brand, and a strong legacy and history to start with. You know, I mean, it's not like we have to generate the understanding of the name Grambling.
Oh,
you know,
you don't.
if you say Grambling, if you say Eddie Robinson,
Right.
people immediately know.
Right.
So from that standpoint, you know, that excites me that I've got something to work with, you know,
Right.
because we are
Exactly.
strong.
Yes, yes. You
Uh,
definitely have a lot to work with.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So you know, that gives me hope in terms of you know all the work that we have to do ahead of us. But again, we have to have, you know, positive messages because we're doing so many great things. You know,
So many great
we look at, for instance, our nursing program. I know I'm kind of bouncing around right now.
But and I definitely wanted to talk about that.
Okay.
So please.
You know, currently our undergraduate program is closed, but our graduate program is still open and thriving. So, but nobody talks about it. It's fully accredited. The passage rate on the test has been 100% across the board.
That's magnificent.
Okay, so but we have to talk about that so that people will understand that we are still doing something significant in nursing. Now, the challenge ahead for me, and one that I absolutely embrace, and we're going to be working on that day one, is the reopening of our undergraduate nursing program.
Okay, so how does that work? I mean, because in the community, the communication has been. The nursing is gone away at Grambling. And I think, you know, that is an opportunity for us, you know, as Gramblingites and as people, you know, all of the people that love Grambling, to get that message out there. What are the next steps for the nursing school?
Okay, and I'll go back a little bit. The program was the result of the settlement of the desegregation litigation that had been ongoing. So our program started from scratch back in the 80s. So, I mean, there was no program, there was planning, and then we opened our it will be the same type of process that we have to build it from the ground up, and that's everything from curriculum to faculty to and again, we already have the graduate program operating, so you know,
Sure.
some things.
And there is some foundation.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But you know, we have to build a curriculum that will be sufficient to show the nursing board that we're prepared to go forward and teach our students at such a level that they will be able to pass the exam that they
Exactly.
need to at a sufficient level. And for many years we were at 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, in our in our nursing, in our undergraduate nursing program. So we'll get back there, but it just means we have to begin this process, you know, from building it from the ground up. Now, part of the other challenge, which again I'm greatly looking forward to, is raising money to do it.
Okay.
You know, the budget, and we can talk about the budget in
Definitely.
one of these segments.
Yeah.
That, I mean, is very different than it was, you know, years ago. So my task is to raise the money that we need to, number one, develop the program, get it back open, and to sustain it until we can start enrolling students. And you know, I mean, obviously tuition begins to offset the cost, but we have to be in a position where we can show financial viability, not just to flip the switch and turn it on.
Exactly.
There's got to be sufficient financial support to get it going and for at least 2 to 3 years down the road. So that's a part of the overall plan that we'll be pursuing is, and we've already got commitments to our foundation to help fund the process of getting it going. So
do we have a number? I mean, because there's so many people that want to support Grambling, but I think in the past, they're just, and no criticism of past leaderships and past, ideas that have come forth, but it just appears as if there hasn't been a detailed message or that we're going in this direction and we need this much to do it and this is what we need to do. Do we have a number? And we're going to go to break in just a moment, but give us,
the number I've been given is about $500,000 to get it.
To get it back.
To be able to hit the switch and we're back
Right.
open. But, again, I think it would be short-sighted for me to simply raise enough to get started.
Right.
I need to feel comfortable that, if our first semester we've got 10 students or we have 100 students, whatever that number is, that the financial resources are there for the program to run.
To continue.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. And so that's why it'll be a much bigger proposal so that we know that we'll have the financial sustainability. Exactly.
For it to be long lasting.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Well, you're not going anywhere,
Right.
but we will be right back from Grambling State University.
And later, President Gallot makes his Bayou Classic predictions. Plus, he talks about basketball and band here on the Hot Seat.
Since 1985, J&S Electronics has served the architects with superior electronics from transistors, resistors, and fuses. We carry HDMI cables and a wide selection of AV cables and connectors. We also have a large supply of batteries and tools to handle your projects. Need Cat 6 or CCTV systems? Call us at 318-631-8675 or come see us today at 6437 Greenwood Road.
Catch the Hot Seat with Melva Wlliams, where we have an opportunity to talk about politics, city events, all sorts of great things that's going on in the city of Shreveport. You don't want to miss it. The Hot Seat with me, Melva Wlliams, on B45.
Like us and share us on social media. On Facebook at The Hot Seat with Melva Wlliams. On Twitter at The Hot Seat Show 1. iKoala Radio. It's just music, baby.
Welcome back to the Hot Seat with Melva Wlliams, and we are here on the campus of Grambling State University with the newly appointed president of Grambling, Rick Gallot. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we have been talking about a lot of hot topics.
Yeah.
And I think one of the hottest topics is, of course, what's near and dear to so many Tiger fans, to our hearts. It's football.
Absolutely.
So let's talk football.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I'm excited about our football team. I'm excited about our coach. I mean, Coach Fobbs is, just one of the greatest men that you'll ever meet.
Exactly.
I mean,
I've had the opportunity to meet him.
He's down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
He's serious about his business. He's a man of faith. He puts God first in everything that he does, just as I do. So, I think he's doing a tremendous job. Obviously, he's turned, the program around.
Definitely.
But more importantly, he's such an incredible mentor and role model, not just to his team, but
Right.
to, kids all, around the country. And I just had the experience yesterday. My wife, Christy, and I, and two of our sons, Christopher and Joseph, were in the mall over in Monroe and ran across a couple of his football players. They came up to me, introduced themselves,
wow.
told me who they were, what positions they played, how excited they were about me coming in as president, and how great they were going to do this season. I mean, just very, articulate, just great young. You can tell that they are under the leadership of a coach who doesn't just
Has high expectations.
Yes, exactly, and doesn't just teach X's and O's.
Right.
He's teaching about character building and about how to approach the new president and introduce yourself.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, I think I even got in on a little Snapchat with
Oh,
one
wow,
of them.
look at you.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it speaks volumes of the type of leadership that he's
Sure.
providing for those young men, and obviously we want to win games, and I know we will. And
We
that
gotta win games.
Absolutely.
We got to win one game in particular.
Well, now
Okay.
that's a given. We we
Definitely
win
gonna
that
win the
game.
Bayou
Yeah,
Classic.
we win that game, no doubt about it. But he's preparing these young men for life.
Right.
And that is, that's directly in the footsteps of Eddie Robinson, and he, Coach Rob used to always say, he appreciated all the accolades and everything, but, he was so proud to be a great American,
That's right.
that was, and so again, that spoke volumes about, how big of an impact he felt like he needed to make
Right.
in this world, not just winning games, but about patriotism and about teaching young men how
And
to be
service.
leaders. Yes,
Being servant leaders.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I'm excited about that. And
Same
one
here.
other sport we have on campus is the band.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
mean, that is huge. What are your plans for the world famed Tiger Marching Band, or do you have any?
But,
Or
but
just,
let me back up just a
Okay,
little bit because
yes.
we do have baseball.
Yes, some other great
had a
sports.
great season this
Yeah.
year. Looking forward to working with Coach Cooper there. We've got basketball.
right. And a pretty good soccer team, right?
Yes, exactly. So we do have other sports, and we're certainly looking forward to supporting
Right.
our entire athletic program, our entire sports program, so that these young people will be able to compete
Right.
at the level that we know that they can. Now with the band,
Yeah.
I-
Well, what? Okay, we're on sports. Let me
Go
go
ahead.
back. One opportunity, if I may give an opportunity,
Sure.
is our basketball team.
yes.
I mean, we have such legendary basketball players, and we've put so many great players into the NBA.
Yes.
I mean, I just think it's an opportunity for Grambling fans to come out and fill those stands for basketball games too, not just for football games.
Indeed, and of course, having Willis Reed, who obviously was a Grambling great, and New York Knicks.
Exactly.
And being one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history, who has made Grambling his retirement home. Obviously we want to have Mr. Reed more involved in everything that we're doing, and he and my dad are still great friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so we're definitely looking forward to having him back in. One of the problems that we had with our basketball program was that, for so many years we were in the little small
gym
that was
Exactly.
smaller than, most high schools. And so at the point that we could, get the Assembly Center built, and we can talk about that
Right.
too, that gave us the opportunity to have a facility that was worthy of young people looking at wanting to play
Exactly.
in. So
Okay.
we can hit on that.
Okay, so we got to talk about the band later because we are. Would you be so kind to join me for a second show?
You know what? I'll join you for a second show, a third show, a fourth show,
Well, this
however
is
many
awesome.
shows you need.
Because there's so much to talk about.
It is.
So I'm going to ask our viewers to stay with us in a special series, a special two-part series with the new president of Grambling State University. We'll be back next week. So join us next week for the Hot Seat with Melva Wlliams.
Hot seat. Get on hot seat. Hot seat. Sit on the hot seat.
Like us and share us on social media. On Facebook at The Hot Seat with Melva Wlliams. On Twitter at The Hot Seat Show 1.